This is TWiT.
So Microsoft is, if nothing else, consistent. They are continuing their record-breaking streak, or as Sophos put it, whoosh. You hear that? It's the sound of Microsoft's security fire hose spraying out a river of CVE fixes.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's right. They wrote, Patch Tuesday was last week the software giant's largest yet, releasing, yes, 129 fixes for CVEs. In other words, once again, Microsoft has broken set and broken its all-time record for the most patches released in 1 month. Do you remember, Leo? We used to talk about 11. We were wow, there were 11. Okay.
Is this good or bad? I mean, they are getting found and fixed.
Yeah, but they're also, as we'll see shortly, they're also creating more problems than they're fixing.
If they're introducing
they really
them,
are.
that's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, they really are breaking things. So, okay, so just quickly, most of the 129 are rated just important. 11 of those 129 CVEs are critical, in all caps, and they're remote code execution vulnerabilities. It's pretty much the case now that if it's not remote code execution, it's like a yawn, although, you know, privilege elevation can be, as we've seen, a problem too. But anyway, so Windows, these are in Windows 10. They're all CVE 2020 somethings. And so here we have 1286, a Windows shell remote code execution triggered by improper file path validation. There that is again. We have 1299, a remote code execution bug again that an attacker could exploit using a malicious .lnk, that is a link file. You know, and note that either we still haven't got link files working right, or we keep breaking them, since Windows has been having security problems with link files from Windows 95. And in this case, Microsoft warns us that if a malicious link file was placed onto a removable drive or a network share, clicking on the link file would run the attacker's malicious remote execution code contained in the file, or remotely provided, that they consider an RCE bug. Then we have 1281, a vulnerability in Windows Object Linking and Embedded, OLE code, stemming from poor input validation and exploitable via a malicious website, a file, or an email message. 1248, a memory object handling bug in GDI, the Windows Graphics Device Interface, which is deliverable by a website, an instant message, or a document file. Those all affected Win 10, of course, since Windows 7 is no longer being maintained, and many of those also affected the latest 2004 build of Windows 10, since, of course, most of the code never changes. Not to be forgotten, IE had its own batch of critical vulnerability bungles. Both IE 9 and 11 were susceptible to a remote code execution via bug, or actually 3 bugs, 1213, 1216, and 1260, all memory handling errors affecting Visual Basic Script, VB Script, the original web browser, which I guess still isn't quite history yet, although, as we talked about last week, they're now working to replace it with Edge, and then irrevocably replace it, since you can't get rid of it once it lands. The original Edge browser had a critical vulnerability, 1073, a memory handling bug in its Chakra Core JavaScript engine. And then there's 1219, which affects both IE and Edge HTML with more memory handling issues. And finally, 1181, a bug in the SharePoint server. It can be exploited by unsafe ASP.NET controls that don't filter properly. And apparently attackers who are able to upload a malicious page to the server, it's not clear how they would do that, perhaps through remote website authoring, could achieve pwnage. As a consequence, admins of SharePoint Enterprise Server 2016, Foundation 2010 Service Pack 2, and 2013 Service Pack 1, or SharePoint Server 2019 should all patch now, or should have. And what's interesting is that those numbers are so low. This suggests that these were reported to Microsoft early in 2020. I mean, we're mid-June now, and I don't know where the CVEs are, but they're way above 1200s. And so Microsoft has taken a while to actually get these out to the world. Oh, there's also 1300, a long-standing bug in Windows handling of cabinet files. It affects most versions of Windows, including 7 through 2004, Windows 10 and Windows Server. And believe it or not, those are just the 11 critical bugs. If I were to attempt to detail the other 118 important flaws, this entire podcast would have to be retitled What Happened Last Tuesday. So I'm going to spare us that since we have plenty more to talk about. But in the meantime,
I just think the key here is most of those are old. So if it's to my mind, if Microsoft's introducing new flaws, problematic, right? But if they're fixing the rate might be going up because they're doing a better job of finding and fixing old flaws, that's a good thing.
That would be a good thing.